Derek, are you in? Derek is in. You can proceed.
Thank you, moderator. As I have said, we said this morning, and we have the first draft. I'll request our secretary to do that.
Thank you, moderator and the court. Wish to present to you the first draft of the resolutions to the moderator's report. Number 1, this GAC receives with gratitude to God and appreciation the report of the moderator of the 23rd General Assembly, and further notes the diligence with which he has served in the last 1 year and encourages him to continue.
Taken.
Number 2, realizing the universality and the profoundness of our 23rd GA theme, that is, give careful thought to your ways, Haggai 1:5b, this GAC instructs the business committee to develop a measurable matrix of the theme for all church levels to show tangible ways that the members have considered their ways.
Taken.
Number 3, noting the impact of the coronavirus, this GAC appreciates the leadership offered by the GA officials, the presbyteries, and parishes in navigating through the unprecedented times of the pandemic. Further, this GAC calls for continued vigilance in observing the Ministry of Health protocols as may be given from time to time.
Taken.
Number 4, noting that the earlier mandates to review the practice and procedure manual expired and that there is urgent need for constitutional review, this GAC mandates the business committee to start the review process and set the timelines on the same.
There was another resolution that was passed. Does this add anything or subtract, or do you have both of them? Is it good duplication? Although you know they were working differently, so they may not have been aware. So what would be the right advice? We delete it. Yes, we note the good work you have done, but since you are working differently, there is another committee that came ahead of you with the same resolution. But thank you for the good job otherwise.
Thank you. Moderator, take it. This, number 5, this GAC, realizing the need for proper planning of the church, instructs the presbyteries to execute such modalities developed by the business committee to ascertain the true membership of the church.
Taken.
Number 6, this GAC notes with concern the interference and disturbance that the GA office has suffered from auctioneers and appreciates the urgent intervention that the business committee has undertaken. This GAC instructs the business committee to formulate a technical subcommittee within itself that will work in consultation with the GA office, finance committee, and the Presbyterian Foundation to advise on investments, borrowing, and other related matters that are within all institutions. Further, this GAC directs that any project being undertaken or agreement proposed to be signed must be assessed carefully for feasibility and viability, and such recommendations be approved by the business committee.
Taken. Yes, Elder Kamwati.
Moderator, I'm just seeking a clarification because earlier we had in the clerks of assembly, we had a resolution on the technical committee on Milende. I don't know whether we are duplicating or we should add something to that committee. Is it another committee? Maybe we need that clarification.
Are you aware of that other resolution? Is the mandate the same? Is the mandate the same? Is the mandate the same? Okay, so should we take this resolution? Oh, thank you.
Thank you, moderator. Number 7, realizing that some debts have been in our books for far too long. This GAC instructs the business committee to work with the finance committee and exhaustively evaluate the existing creditors and debtors so as to reach an informed decision and advise on the way forward.
Taken? I like the language there.
Number 8, this GAC recognizes our good practices as prescribed by Presbyterianism and running of our church courts. This GAC directs the presbyteries to enhance usage of Presbyterianism and Reformed theology in the church.
Taken?
Number 9, this GAC takes note of the pivotal work done by the regions, and there is need for it to be constituted as a strong working area. The GAC therefore instructs the business committee to prepare legislation for consideration by the GAC or GA to empower the regions to function as synods as envisaged by the Practice and Procedure Manual. Further, such legislation should also seek to introduce efficiency in administration and governance in our church.
Taken? Is a hard, Reverend Joroge?
Moderator, sir, I may not have the resolutions here at hand, but there are quite a number of resolutions about synods, and the last one was that this be executed without further delay. And don't know, I can be able to find out that resolution.
Okay.
Unless we say that we enhance that immediately.
Okay, it was within the life of which General Assembly? Can you remember? I know there's a lot of work that has been done, just like the practice and procedure work.
Yeah.
I don't know, which General Assembly could it have been?
Maybe we can talk about reactivating it and finishing. I think it was in the 18, 19, and 20.
Okay. So with that addition or adjustment, do you take the resolution? So they will try and Google and fight where exactly when that happened. Next one.
Thank you, Moderator. Number 10. This GAC instructs the business committee to work closely with the Training and Personnel Development Committee to advise and formulate a ministers and elders training and recruitment manual.
Taken? Taken? Thank you. Next.
Number 11. This GAC notes with regret that some of our members have reverted to outdated cultural and some outlawed traditions and instructs the presbyteries to supervise and or direct the teaching and ruling elders to systematically and qualitatively teach our members against such outdated traditions that will harm our flock.
Taken?
Number 12, this GAC notes the sorry state of our society as a result of the breakdown of ethos due to eroded family values. This GAC therefore instructs the presbyteries to carry out research to come up with recommendations to consciously strengthen the institution of family and the children's ministry to inculcate godly teaching, mentorship, and values from an early stage.
Taken? My only worry there is who supervises that. When we tell presbyteries, they may say they have done it, and could there be a way of them reporting? How can we bring in anything that would make them report somewhere? So that, because it's a very good resolution dealing with the issues that we have talked about. Presbyteries to carry out research, to come up with recommendations, to consciously strengthen the institution of family. Well, I think it's good. Let's leave it at that. All you had something, Daktari?
Interventions. Are we saying, do we want to do research or do we want to have interventions?
Can you clarify that, you people? You wrote it.
Thank you, Moderator. We are saying we may not be in a position to say what are the causes. Some could be psychosocial and so on and so forth. So that we can be able to have a proper information to the church or something like that. We have to get to understand ourselves as presbyteries so that then we can be able to consciously Tier 3 advice.
Yeah, but the same issue of supervision of the same, how would we be able to know?
Maybe this would, one monitor would come to the business.
Maybe.
Yes.
That would,
Because that is where we can, in the presbytery, that is where it can be able to revert to.
Yes.
To the Secretary General, to the Office of the General Assembly, and then to the business.
yeah,
So,
that,
in this case, it is business.
yeah, so that maybe they are even given a letter
Yeah.
asking them to give a report.
Yes.
I think that would be good.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you, Moderator.
On the same?
Because if we talk research, I don't think that every parish has
Presbytery
presbytery
has the capacity.
do empirical research for the same. So maybe we do an evaluation because we are not affected in the same way.
I think that's a good observation too. Yes, they may say they don't have the tools for research. Research is a bit scientific. They may say they don't have the tools, they don't have the capacity, so we didn't do it. But if it's an evaluation, they can look aloud at the shopping centers, they can look at the families within their area of jurisdiction, so on and so forth, and be able to make a report. You can even task some students who are on vacation, college students. Sometimes we could engage them by giving them some work to do, and they will assist us. So I'm sure you have heard that.
Yes, sir.
That's all. For moderators' reports, we don't add resolutions. So kazi imeisha. Tunaenda ingine. Lakini tunashukuru kamati hii kwa kazi nzuri ambayo walifanya. Wale walikuwa kamati kubwa, lakini tulipoanza hawakuwa hapa. Hebu asimame tena tuone. Hilo imepatikana, ilikuwa
They are all in now.
hata Reverend Jennifer amepatikana. Thank you. Clap for them. Thank you, thank you. You can take your seats. We next go to the next order.
Moderator, sir, the next one is the place committee.
Oh, they have already refined.
Yeah.
Good. Place release committee. Let's see the revisions you have been able to do since the last 7-8 hours.
Thank you, Moderator, and the entire GAC. We thank you for the valuable inputs that you gave us, and now we invite the Secretary to give us the updates that you have done, as I request first the committee to just stand and waive the GAC. Committee members?
Are they all in?
Yes, yes, they are all in.
They are all in.
Thank you so much, Secretary.
Moderator, Secretary General, fellow delegates and commissioners, it's my pleasure to present to you the press release of this GAC. I start by the heading, which says it's a press release of the first GAC of the 23rd General Assembly, and the dates are 19th to the 22nd of April 2022. Preamble.
I should be in caps, eh? G.
Oh, yes.
G. Assembly. A. Okay, proceed.
Okay. Preamble. We, the commissioners and delegates of the First General Administration Committee, GAC, of the 23rd General Assembly, GA, of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, drawn from the 57 presbyteries meeting at Milere, Nairobi from the 19th to the 22nd of April 2022, send our warmest Christian greetings to the nation. Our theme remained, give careful thought to your ways, drawn from Haggai chapter 1, verse 5b. During the meeting, we noted with appreciation that though the last 2 years have been very challenging, by the grace of God, things are truly looking up with the decrease of COVID-19 cases. COVID-19 pandemic. The church again sends our prayers and sympathy to all those affected. We are also aware of the negative effects of the pandemic has visited on us as a people. We must therefore work together with understanding and empathy as people rebuild their livelihood. Though we